Hey guys, so we're working on the 12 valve build. This is where we left off there. I can't remember what day it was now. All my days are melding together. But we're just getting ready to put the head on. I have wiped the deck off and just made sure there's no bad spots on it as it stands right now. So we've already checked the piston protrusion, which we know we have to go into a bigger head gasket. So this is a 10 over head gasket. Now, something that I do that a lot of guys don't do is, I want to show you guys, you can actually still see the indentations on the block here. A lot of guys don't do anything with this. I do. On this right here on the block where you can see where the head gasket doesn't actually seal to it and it rusts there. What I do is I just take a little tiny bit of that case sealant and just put a little tiny layer of it there to keep that from rusting. You don't have to do it, but I do it just because I don't like, if you ever had to do a head gasket on it, then it won't be rusty there, so it's a lot easier to clean the surface. So up to you whether you want to do it. If you don't want to, don't. If you do, well, do it. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to get case sealant. You don't have to put very much, it's just a light little layer. Just right where that rust is. I've actually never had to fix one that I've done this on, so I don't know whether it makes a difference. Makes me feel better, so I do it. Like I said, you don't need to put a lot there. Just a little bit. Just enough to cover over that area. Basically just keeps it sealed more than anything. Is all it does. Sealed from the elements. That's just, like I said, that's just where the head gasket doesn't touch. Or, I shouldn't say doesn't touch, it doesn't seal. So. So, head gasket. There again, nothing special about the head gasket either, other than it's a 10 over gasket. It's just a Victor Ryan's 10 over gasket. I'll go grab the head. I'm gonna do the liner up. One dowel. The other dowel's lined up. So there she's set. So for you guys that are following, we are putting a set of the exotic head studs in this. So So I'm gonna get ready to get some of those snugged up. I just want to put a little bit of load on it as long as the before that silicone sets completely. And then we'll get the push rods and the rockers and all that stuff set in. And obviously then the head can't go anywhere. Not that I'm too worried about the head going anywhere. But we'll get that started up here. Now, I've never used these before myself, these exotic head studs. Quality for the price doesn't look bad. I don't know whether I would trust them for a high horsepower application, but this isn't going to be a high horsepower application. If it was ever to see even 400 horsepower at the wheels, I'd be surprised. Maybe it will. I know where it's going, but customer's not looking to make a lot of power with it, so so when you're installing the head studs, doesn't matter what type of head studs you're installing, just put, what I do is just a drop oil on the block side. The other side you want to use the lube. The block side I always use oil. So just putting the studs in, just getting some to start with in here. I'm gonna get them torqued down, but you can see I just flipped them about a thread in by hand before I start using the screw gun to put them in. Here in the time lapse it's hard to see it, but I do, there's a couple of bolts that studs didn't want to go in. That's what I'm using the impact for, is just to drive a thread chaser in those couple holes and clean them out a little bit. I don't know, just a little bit of crap in them. I think it's just, this block sat around for a little bit, and I think it just got a little tiny bit of rust in the holes, so just give it a quick clean out, and then they all went down all the same depth at that point, so that was good. And then gonna be getting the big long studs put in there for the rocker pedestals, and then I just had to go grab some push rods, put a little lube on it, set the rocker pedestals on. And I did have to do a little bit of filing on the one. That's what I'm doing there right now. Where the base goes on, there was a little, I guess, funny mark on it that I wanted to clean up. They do kind of like just get screwed up, which I talk about it here in a little bit when we get off a time lapse. Just getting everything lined up, snug everything down, and then just go over it and snug everything down again. Like I said, guys, just going over stuff, make sure everything's lined up, make sure you got everything snugged down. Hey guys, so got the rockers all on there, all the bolts are started. I'm going to do a start torque on it, which is going to start at 50, and then we're going to go up to 135. Torque on these is 125, but I always go a little bit more. We will be doing a hot retorque on this after it gets installed. But that won't, like I said, that won't be for a little while. So I'm gonna go put you guys back on time lapse. One thing that you do want to watch when you're putting the pedestals on is that you get them lined up. There is, on the bottom of them, there is a dowel. There is a dowel on the pedestal that has to go into the head. But that's the reason I don't use an impact or anything like that to put them on. It's not really rocket science, but you do see them munched up. I had to fix one of them. So we will get on to the torquing. So process on this, you start in the middle, work your way out, and then, so I start in the middle, work my way out at 50, and then I'm gonna go do 50 again, and then, you know, you just do 50. I can't remember what I do. I'm 50. Huh, my brain's not working apparently. It's getting close to the end of the day here. 50, 85, 135. So going through, like I was saying earlier, start in the middle, work your way out. I do 50, 50 again, and then 85, 85 again, and then 135, and then go over it one more time at 135. It's a lot of pulls to do in a short period of time. All right, guys, I got this thing all torqued on now. I'm going to do the valve set. I've already brought it up to top dead center, compression number 1. So I'm going to do the valve set on it. So you're going to be, for do the valve set on it, bring it top dead center, number 1 compression stroke. You're going to do number 1 intake and exhaust, and then it's intake, exhaust, intake, exhaust. The easy way to tell is that you can actually tell whether, if you're at top dead center, if your number 1 and number 6 are loose, you're on compression number 1, or if your number 6 and your number 6 are both loose, then you're on number 6 compression. So anyways, I'm gonna do the valve set on this thing quick, throw you guys back on the time lapse to do that. I just wanted to show how to, what I was talking about. Your spec on doing it is 10 and 20. Some guys do it 8 and 18. I personally like 10 and 20, especially doing a fresh head gasket, because you should be checking it a couple times when you do retorques. But anyways, I'll get after that, and we'll back to you in a minute. All right, guys, I got the valve set all done on this thing, but I wanted to show, so when you're doing the valve set, you want to have some drag on your feeler gauges when you're doing it. You don't need a lot of drag, but it's hard to explain. But when you get it in there and you get the feeler gauge under it, you can feel that it's like, you can feel the drag. So I like a little bit of drag on mine when I do them myself personally. So I did all of them. So when you're on compression number 1, like I said, you're gonna do intake exhaust on number 1, and then your intake exhaust, and then you roll it, do the other ones that you haven't done. And then when you roll it, you need to roll it 365 degrees to do the second set. So not rocket science by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think, not for me anyways. So the head is now torqued. We have the valve set done. So I guess the next step we'll be going to be putting, which we'll do tomorrow. Just I don't have a tappet cover clean, so we're gonna we'll call it good for this one. But we're gonna do the tappet cover. I'm gonna try to hopefully do it tomorrow. We'll do the tappet cover. What else are we gonna do? Probably put the valve covers on, which there again is pretty simple. The valve covers, actually, I'm getting a set of valve covers redone. I'm not sure how I'm having them done yet, but you'll see it when it's finished. But I'm gonna put a set of valve covers on just so it has valve covers. We'll do the tappet cover, the valve covers. Actually, I might build a set of injectors tomorrow. If I do, I'll video it, or video one anyway, doing one. And we'll install the injectors just so that the holes are filled up. Yeah, so this thing is actually coming together quite nicely. Basically at the point now where we just kind of got to get everything. I'm going to do a front cover. I have a front cover for it. The oil pump, do all that stuff. Be timing the pump before we put the front cover on just because it's easier. Yeah, so it's not a huge deal from where we are now. And then we'll be able to paint it and, you know, get all that stuff done up and should be good to go. Anyways, we will like, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you know when I'm putting out new videos, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, guys.